Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to Everlasting Summer, Part 14. That's right, 14 parts. That's a lot of parts. Quick recap of Part 13 is Eliza and Lena both said, hey, we like you, but nothing came of it. And I don't like when things don't come. So that was unepic, but yeah, the story goes on. More development. This is a very long game, but it's still epic. Let's continue. So this is just right after the night of nights when we were on the hike, and then the whole Eliza Lena debacle happened. So now we're going back to the milk goddess known as Olga Dmitrievna, and all my remaining energy was wasted on a sprint to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. There was no light, so trying not to wake the camp leader, I undressed quietly and lay down. Okay. It's still interesting. What did Eliza mean? And Lena? It's become totally unclear what is going on with them and with me, as if we got sucked into some sort of vortex which started to swirl with furious power. But what's going to happen next? And where will I be thrown? All right, looks like bedtime. Day 6, I think. It's going to be day 6. Yeah, it's taking us... Oh, Eliza's breaking the fourth wall. This is epic. I wonder if that was intentional. Who knows? Anyway, 14 parts, 6 days. So that's a nice little ratio we got going. Yeah, I wonder if that was intentional. It'll be interesting to see later on if we can figure that out. I woke up early when Olga Dmitrievna was still asleep. I stretched and sat up in the bed. I felt surprisingly okay, although I should have slept through the day after what happened the night before. Quietly, so as not to wake the camp leader, I took the bag with my washing up stuff and went outside. I forgot to look at the clock, but it seemed like 6 or 7 in the morning. The camp was asleep. The grass was shaking off the night dew. A light fog hung above the ground, and the sun was just beginning to break through the treetops. Not warm at all yet, like the fluorescent lamp in the house across from mine. I took a deep breath of the tasty cold air and thought that even a night owl like me can enjoy waking up early sometimes. If you don't have a consistent sleep schedule, that's not epic, especially if your goal is to build muscle. I'm sorry to say, but you gotta fix that. Not epic at all. The streets of the camp were empty, of course. The water here has always been cold, but today it seems like they got it from the Antarctic depths. Even my hands went numb from it. Finishing with my hygiene, I decided to walk around the camp a bit. Olga Dmitrievna is asleep. Breakfast not for a while, so there's nothing to do. I came to the square and looked at Genda. That guy doesn't care if it's day or night. He's alert. I smiled at my successful joke and headed to the boat shed. As I walked, I hummed some song, absolutely sure I was the only one awake in here. To my great surprise, I saw someone sitting at the pier, hanging her feet in the water. Eliza. I came closer and stopped, not sure what to say. Then she suddenly turned around and stared at me. Been standing here long, Baka? No. Why aren't you asleep? Why aren't you? She turned back and stared at the river again. Looks like I'm not the only one in a good mood today. At least she wasn't being sassy again. Can't sleep. I see. About yesterday. You get everything, right? What exactly? Oh, for God's sake, Baka. My answer didn't seem to go down well. All right, I did. I lied. All right, good. She suddenly looked straight in the eye and smiled. In that case, I have plans for you tonight. Okay, I like where this is going. I'm excited, and I can only imagine this going one way, and it's a positive way. Eh? May I ask what they are? You don't need to know. Well, since I'm a part of them, you'll know when it's time. Can you give me a hint at least? Nope. She got up and walked towards me. A bit scared, I cleared the way. Don't do anything stupid, Baka, Eliza said, moving away from the boat shed. I wonder what she meant as I hit the scroll wheel. And what are those plants? I had no wish to become part of some terrorist act against a monument or anything. Besides, I was still haunted by yesterday's talk with Lena on the island. She's probably still angry, and I never managed to explain everything to her. Although, I don't even know what I would say if I had the chance. I felt guilty about everything that had happened, but I couldn't figure out what exactly I was guilty of. The camp was starting to wake up. Breakfast was at least an hour away, but I had no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin, so I decided to wait by the canteen. At least I'd be the first one there. At least I'd be the first one there for once. I sat on the steps and watched the sunrise. Sometimes it's great just to watch a new day come. Epic. I was overwhelmed with complete peace and tranquility. There were no thoughts to tear up my brain as they usually do. I simply bathed in warm rays of the heaven's stars. In any other place and circumstances, I could probably even say I was happy. Good morning. You're early today. I looked up and saw Lena standing in front of me. She was smiling. You too. All of last night's events flashed before my eyes. Listen. If this is about yesterday, please don't. She interrupted me sharply. I don't know what came over me. It was all... Just forget it. She stared at me. Lena seemed much more confident than usual. If only it was all that simple. There's nothing complicated about this. She sat down next to me. So close I felt a bit awkward but made no attempt to move away from her. Sometimes I have disputes with Eliza. Yeah, I realized. I see. But in this case, it happened because of me. Who knows? She answered, lost in thought. So that's why... You know, I'm embarrassed. Perhaps I really am to blame. Or rather, I'm not trying to say that I'm not to blame, but I was trying to explain myself like a 5th grader to a teacher. Okay, don't. As I said, nothing serious happened. If you think so. You should just think about how to act from now on. Not again. I covered my face with my hands, clearly showing that I have absolutely no idea what's going on here, and that everything, to put it mildly, is very unpleasant for me. Could you express yourself any clearer? What for? She said evasively. Look, if I don't know what I did wrong, I can't do better. I can't decide on how to act, as you say. I think you'll understand. I would like to believe that as well, but... That's a loud door. The milk goddess has arrived. The canteen door suddenly flew open, and Olga Dmitrievna came out. Gotta get some Wawa. That was a good drink. Sitting around hungry this... I don't know if that's her voice. That's more of an Eliza. There are so many characters in this. I feel like I've mixed the voices up once or twice. She's more of a high voice. Eliza's more sassy. Okay. Sitting around hungry this early? She said playfully. Good morning, Lena said merrily. She got up and headed inside. Shall we? Yeah, sure. We were not done talking, but pioneers appeared out of nowhere and flooded the place. By the time I got my breakfast, Lena was already sitting, surrounded by Miku, Xenia, and Slavia. Sadly, there were no more free chairs at their table. Feeling down and deliberately saying, Not saying hi to anybody, I headed to my favorite place in the far corner of the canteen. I chewed my oatmeal. It was really chewy today, and washed it down with some cold tea. Then I began to watch the others. All the pioneers seemed to be here. Some were chatting. Some, like Electro, Nick, and Shirk, were immersed in chewing, and some were gawping around, like me. I was just about to leave when Olyana jumped over to my table, with her tray heaped with food. Bon appetit! She blurted. Stealing again? I asked, openly staring at her tray. A growing body requires a lot of calories. Yeah, you really should grow up a bit, I whispered. What? I didn't think she heard me. Nothing. I headed out. Leaving so soon? She yelled at my back, disheartened. I gave no answer. I should have taken the washing up stuff back in. I don't want to carry it around all day. Besides, what am I going to do today? Nothing at all came to mind. I was in such a mood that it seemed like someone was going to show up and invite me on a journey. I left the camp leader's cabin and paused for a moment, then heard a voice calling out to me. Makapi? It was Slavia. A busy? No. A can you help me? Of course. I didn't want to look for answers on a wonderful day like this. A couple dozen hours wouldn't change my situation after all. What is it? You should stop by the Cybernetic Club. I don't know why exactly. They'll tell you everything. The unfortunate inventors again. All right. A thank you. She gave me a nice smile and ran off. So, a journey to the enemy's lair lies ahead of me. To the lair of the evil Dr. Electronic and the diabolical Professor Shirk. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Kind of weird that Shirk tried to kill us and our girlfriend, and we just kind of forgave him. That's a very forgiving nature of our main character here. Don't know if I could do the same. I pushed the door firmly and entered. Firmly grasp it. Markapi, Electronic said a bit ominously, glancing up from some contraption he had been poking with a screwdriver. Slavia sent me. I know. And? What? The second door opened and Shirt came in. Markapi. He greeted me in the same tone Electronic had. Well, I was last time I checked, I joked. So, what do you need from me? We have an important task for you. I'm listening. The nurse came by yesterday. He stopped as if he wasn't going to continue. So, I asked carefully. So, we have an important mission for you. I got that already. You are to deliver a package to her. Dude, I'll give the nurse a package, all right. Can't you do that yourselves? The infirmary is right over there, I said skeptically. Skeptically. Sorry. We can't. Electronic said surprised. What a weird couple indeed. I see. Not another heavy bag, I hope. No, nothing like that, he smiled. All right, fine. I carefully agreed. Hold on. Hope it's a Sectrobot. Shirk disappeared through the door and soon came back, holding something wrapped in paper. Just be careful. All right. I took the package. If the pioneers weren't passing me the key to the pearly gates, it still looked like they were at least giving me the Olympic torch. Can I go? Of course, Electronic said threateningly. Just be careful, Shirk pleaded. Outside, I took a good look at the package. They never told me not to open it, although it would make sense to go further on. I quickly walked to the square and, making sure nobody was following, slipped into the forest. I just stood there for a while, indecisive, looking at the package. I wonder, what's in it? Why is it so important for them? Why couldn't they just take it themselves? I had a lot of questions. I opened the package and saw a bottle of Stolichnaya vodka. Well, so what? Pioneer's bringing a bottle of vodka to the nurse? Or rather, I'm doing it for them. Happens every day. I wrapped the bottle up and scratched my head. This isn't weird anymore. This is just stupid. So stupid I couldn't think of one intelligent theory. I stood there for a while longer and thought, I shouldn't let such a wonderful chance slip away. I quickly walked to the camp leader's cabin. Thank God, Olga Dmitrievna was not there. I snuck inside and began to rifle through the contents of the table drawer. Soon the vodka was in a soda bottle, while in its place was some water for the plants. Happy with my clever plan, I went out and skipped along the way to the infirmary. Seriously, what is so wrong about that? They almost got me into a trap. If the camp leader had seen me, if anyone else had, I couldn't have managed myself. So it was absolutely nothing. I gathered all my strength and knocked on the infirmary door. Hello, Pioneer. She got some sideways titties. Hello, I have a package for you. A bottle for your armpit. A package for your cabinet. I was so euphoric I began to talk nonsense. She said. Hand it over. I handed her the package. The nurse stuffed it into the desk drawer without looking. You didn't open it, did you? Of course not, I blurted out. Good boy. All right, so I'll be... Go, Pioneer. Go, Gyro Zappelli. I closed the door behind me and let out a sigh. I could always pin this on the crazy inventors, and in my situation, I could really use even the most basic form of stress relief. I came to the square. The clock showed noon. That meant dinner was coming. I sat on the bench with the solid intention of not moving from here until the come and get it bell sound comes. Pioneers were running by. They were smiling and shouting merrily. Yes, the day was definitely a wonderful one. I glanced over the square and saw Lena approaching. Relaxing? Something like that. She sat by me and looked at the sky. Nice day, huh? It is. It was a bit awkward. Lena seemed different. She was not embarrassed. Her face was not red. She was confident. So, about that conversation. I told you everything already. Yeah, but... Just forget it. If you say so. We sat for a little longer in silence. I just can't not like that. So what do you think about Eliza? She said, ignoring my inquiry. What do I think about Eliza? I repeated, lost in thought. I don't really know. Why? You're just so worried about yesterday. Well, of course. But what does that have to do with it? There's a direct connection there, she laughed. Let's assume... So what? Well, And again I started thinking, really, what do I think of her? Well, she can be arrogant sometimes. That's right. What else can I say? Now that I think of it, I don't know Eliza at all. The way she acts does annoy me sometimes. If you were wondering if I had any negative feelings about her, then no. I mean, she gets carried away, but everyone has their quirks. Lena stared at me. Really? Did I say something wrong? No, not really. She LOL'd one more time just before the lunch bell sound came. Alright, see you. I didn't stop her, although I had a lot of questions left. But how do I ask them? And should I? I got up and slowly shuffled to the canteen. There were only a few spots left, so I had to sit with Electronic and Shurik. Did you deliver it? Yeah. I answered lazily, poking my fork at the buckwheat kasha. No incidents? No incidents. What was in there anyway? You didn't open it, did you? He stared. No. Great. Finishing my meal, I went out. I was struck by a sudden yawn. Taking a nap wouldn't be a bad idea. I headed to the camp leader's cabin. It felt like the summer sun was going to melt the whole planet, together with all its inhabitants. There was nowhere to hide. The sunlight seemed to reflect from every surface. Looking up, you risked going blind. Using my last bit of strength, I pulled the door handle, entered the room, and fell onto the bed. Of course, I wouldn't expect the cabin to be really cool, but it was much better than outside. Blissfully, I stretched out on the bed and closed my eyes. Strangely, sleep deserted me. I was overwhelmed with thoughts teeming in my head. Here's another theory, a solution to the problem of how I got here. Here's an explanation of what's going on here, and here's the true form of all those inhabiting this place. I remembered Lena saying, "What do you think about Eliza?" Seriously, what do I think of her? What can I think of a person I've only known for a few days? Can I just draw conclusions based on a couple of words and deeds? Although her deeds, I laughed a bit. Any relevant organization would draw the right conclusion based on the monument bombing. Still though, I don't care. Maybe I really don't think anything of her. Can one be interested in a person who's not interesting? No, that's some sort of absurdity. A knock on the door. Come in. I was too lazy to get up, so I just sat up a little bit. Bro, she tied her shirt again. Epic. And she got a little bandana action, or I guess a wristband action on her stage right hand. The door opened and I saw Eliza. What a coincidence. She stopped, unsure, and stared at me for a couple of seconds. I guess you were looking for the camp leader. Why would she, though? No. What's up, then? I was looking for you, Baka. She sounded calm and not aggressive at all. I caught myself thinking I was not afraid of her and had no concerns when she behaved like that, normally. What for? I want to make everything clear. She sat on the bed across from me. What exactly? I want to clean up any misunderstandings or miscommunications, Baka. Alright, I'm up for that. Have you spoken with Lena today? Yes. About what, Baka? Nothing really. You're lying. Eliza looked stiff and worried. She crossed her legs and bit her lip. You do understand, I'm always assumed to be guilty whenever anything happens, Baka. Well, you always are guilty, I said thoughtlessly. A spark flashed in her eyes, but she kept talking calmly. Bro, I'm getting some good vibes are being picked up, is all I gotta say. Maybe. But in this case, me and Lena were always like that. Even if she starts something, she's all innocent, and I take all the blame, Baka. So you're saying that Lena... Actually, I don't really know what you're saying. You never understand anything, do you, Baka? She fumed. This is strange. I wouldn't call myself slow. So explain. You do know Lena likes you. She went red after those words. No. I answered truthfully. Well, now you do. Now I do. An uncomfortable silence overtook the room. I was processing what she said, and Eliza seemed unsure of how to continue the convo. Lena likes me. Could I ever have guessed? Unlikely. My intuition is usually good, but when it's about me and my feelings, it does not work at all. The weirdest thing was I accepted the news with almost no worries. Right at the moment I was listening to Eliza, I was focused only on her. I could think about the rest later. And she thinks that I'm going to steal you away from her. She thinks that all the time, understand? Even though it's always the other way around. Everyone looks at her because she's an angel, and nobody pays attention to me. To them, I'm just a shoulder to cry on. Eliza started screaming. Look, please don't get so upset. I don't think of you like that. Of course. I still had no idea what forced her to be so honest, and I didn't know how to react. Moreover, I was not worried at all. It was like I was watching another episode of some TV series, and what was going on in the room was on the other side of the screen. I understand. I was the reason for all of it. But today, Lena said it was okay. That's just like her. You've probably realized that she's not as quiet as she wants to seem. I'd started to guess. If I can do anything, tell me. Eliza raised her eyes. Only then did I see she's been crying. Some sort of worry stirred inside me. I could not treat this conversation like I was an outsider anymore. Ooh, there's gonna be a decision, boys. Do you like Lena, or do you like me? I guess I should have expected a question like that, but I just wasn't ready. Just like that? Lena is nice, of course, but Eliza has her good points as well. Besides, the way she was at that moment, she could seriously compete with Lena. I don't really know you two at all. A question like that, it's difficult to answer directly. If I could say no, I would have at that very moment, but I only had one chance for the other answer as well, and I didn't know what to choose. You did want the situation to resolve itself, of course, but why but again? Why again? Why? Look, we're going nowhere with this. Well, answer then, Baka. Her face fell back into its usual bold arrogance. I need time to think. Well, go ahead and think. Eliza stood up and abruptly headed out. Don't forget, we have plans for tonight, she said on the threshold, smiling. The door closed behind her. I could say anything. Plans? What kind of plans? The talk with Eliza left a heavy impression on me. So, Lena likes me. On its own, the news could shock and startle, and I, above that, was forced to make a choice, a difficult one, to put it mildly, and any choice I make would be a mistake for someone. If only I could refuse them both. What the fuck? No. Although I didn't like the word refuse itself, if I could just answer her question with a no, it would be easier. But I knew it couldn't work like that. After I talked to Eliza, I realized nothing would ever be the same again. It can't be, no matter what happens. And I'll have to make a decision. Since I rejected the no scenario, I needed to pick a positive solution, if, of course, I could live with it. But I was sure that out of all the possible outcomes, there's one that won't just satisfy everyone, but would also be the one that I want to strive for. And the choice seemed obvious. Lena. Alright, I don't like the main character right now. He does not reflect the views of the Markapi Sue network. Just wanted to make that clear. He's a bit of a He's a bit of a sissy boy, a twink, if you will. He's not up for the tomboy challenge like I am. But just making that clear. So when I'm reading his thoughts, those do not reflect the Markapisu Network. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And the choice seemed obvious. Lena. She's pretty, she's cute, she's kind. But then again, there was something about Liza that attracted me. Oh, dude. When she starts with that pose, you already know, like, it's about to go down. The Melkers are here to play. Suddenly the door flew open, and Olga Dmitrievna came in. Lounging around again, huh? Just resting. It's so hot out there. Go and help Slavia. She was asking around. Where? I asked lazily. On the sports field. I almost said the sports itself. I'm nearing the end, of course, as we can tell by the misreading. Reluctantly, I got up and headed out. I should really air my brain out anyway. I think that's a great place to stop for today. We made some progress, I would say. Maybe not as much as last time, but we do have plans with Eliza tonight. We don't know what those plans are. We have an idea what they could be. She actually hasn't said she liked us, but I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, come on, we gotta read between the lines here, fellas. So, that's all for today. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. That would be epic of you. And as always, help me find a girlfriend. And bye-bye.